Our objective is to investigate how various factors affect the growth of microbes in a tiny ecosystem. Look at these images. What do you think these images show? The images are of microbes, living organisms that we need a microscope to see. Some microbes are helpful to humans and some are harmful. For example, some microbes recycle waste by breaking it down. Other microbes can cause disease. Think about the 5-second rule. I would explain it as a piece of dropped food is safe to eat if it's been on the ground for 5 seconds or less. The scientists in the article we are about to read set out to test this rule. I want you to predict what the scientists found. Testing the 5-second rule. Is it ever safe to eat food you drop on the floor? You've just opened a new package of candy and you accidentally drop a piece on the floor. 5-second rule, your friend shouts. You quickly pick up the candy and pop it into your mouth. The rule says that if you pick up fallen food within 5 seconds, there's no time for germs to climb aboard, right? Not so fast. Most scientists have long believed that the 5-second rule is a myth, but researchers at Rutgers University in New Jersey wanted to back up that belief with data. They designed an experiment to test if there's any truth to the popular rule. Ready, set, drop. The scientists decided to test the 5-second rule using watermelon, gummy candy, plain bread, and buttered bread. They chose those foods because each contains a different amount of moisture. We know water is very important in allowing disease-causing bacteria to transfer, says Donald Schaffner. He's the food scientist at Rutgers who led the study. Next, Schaffner's team picked 4 common household surfaces to drop the foods on: tile, stainless steel, wool, and carpet. They spread millions of bacteria onto each test surface. The final variable, or factor the scientists changed in the experiment, was time. They left the foods on each surface for less than 1 second, for 5 seconds, for 30 seconds, and for 300 seconds. To make sure the results were reliable, the scientists tried each combination many times. After each trial, they tested the foods to see how much bacteria they had picked up. Would the 5-second rule work? The verdict. In most cases, the scientists found food did pick up more bacteria the longer it sat on a surface, but that wasn't the only important variable. The food's moisture level and the type of surface it fell on also made a difference. Juicy watermelon picked up more bacteria than gummy candy, for example, and carpet transferred fewer germs than hard surfaces like tile. In every test, though, at least some bacteria got on the food, even when it was picked up immediately. That means the 5-second rule is a bust. There was no safe amount of time, he explains. So should you eat that dropped piece of candy? Probably not, scientists say. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, germy surfaces are to blame for 12% of food poisoning cases. No matter how good that fallen food looks, the safe choice is to toss it. Okay, boys and girls, it's time for you to pause the video to read the following questions. You may record your responses on a numbered piece of paper. Remember to go back into the text to identify clues that help you make an inference. Remember, use your backpack of knowledge to make those inferences. Finally, I'd love for you to complete this next investigation to share and compare during next week's lesson. I'll be conducting the experiment as well and recording my data to share with you. Please get your parents' permission to conduct any investigations at home. So pause the video here to read the bread and water procedure. Can't wait to hear and see your results.
Five-second rule. Fact or fiction? It's a normal day. You're eating breakfast. But then, suddenly, you drop your toast on the floor. You're in a rush to get to school. So you shout, 5-second rule. Pick up your toast and shove it into your mouth. It was on the ground for less than 5 seconds, so it's safe, right? Not so fast. Scientists at Rutgers University recently did an experiment to investigate just how reliable the 5-second rule is. The scientists tested 4 foods: buttered bread, gummy candy, plain bread, and watermelon. They wanted the foods they tested to contain different amounts of moisture. That's because bacteria love moisture. It helps them grow. The scientists had a hypothesis, or educated guess, about moisture. They thought that foods with less moisture, like gummy bears, would pick up fewer bacteria, and foods with more moisture, like watermelon, would pick up more. Speaking of germy surfaces, the scientists chose 4 of those too: tile, stainless steel, wood, and carpet. Each surface was coated with millions of microscopic bacteria. Microscopic means that they are so small that they are invisible to the naked eye. One more variable, or changing factor of the experiment, was time. The scientists left each kind of food on each surface for 1 second, 5 seconds, 30 seconds, and 300 seconds. After each trial, they tested the dropped food to see just how much bacteria it picked up. As you might have guessed, the longer the food sat on the germy surface, the more bacteria it picked up. But the foods with more moisture, like watermelon, picked up way more bacteria than the low moisture gummy candy. The type of surface the food landed on mattered too. The carpet transferred the fewest germs, while the hard tile and steel transferred the most. But the overall conclusion of the experiment? No amount of time on the floor is safe. The food picked up at least some bacteria in every single test. The 5-second rule didn't work. What does that mean for you and your breakfast? No matter how rushed you are, if you drop food on the floor, your best bet is to throw it out. Your stomach will thank you.